Marriage. We are gathered here today. We've all heard it. We all understand it. Well, maybe some of us don't. But marriage. Most people don't think it's a financial decision, but it is. It's not just about love and fairy tales and Prince Charming and the princess and all that stuff. It is a financial decision because you are now going to share your resources with another individual. And whether that is going into a house together or going into a car together, you are sharing everything. So even just like having a roommate's great because you're sharing the resources of the place that you're renting. But when it's a marriage, you're still going to have that same thing, but you can't change roommates. Or ideally, you don't want to change roommates. Because if you do change roommates after you get married, you're in for a lot of financial challenges. So let's talk about getting into the relationship. So you've been living your life, you've got your savings, you've got your vehicle, you've got maybe a house, maybe not. And so you've been doing your thing all by yourself. Great, you've been planning. Now you fall in love with somebody else. And maybe they've done the same thing, or maybe they haven't. And so you really want to discuss those things on how is that future going to look like for you two? Because the other individual, they might be a good saver just like you are, but when they save for something, they want to buy the new car. Whereas you might save for something and you might want to buy the 3 used cars. And so you want to be able to be on the same page with that. You want to be on the same page when it comes to kids. When, how many, things like that. You might be indifferent and they might be very specific, or vice versa. But you want to make sure that, if you're like no kids and they're kids, well, maybe that's not going to work. And all that comes at a cost. So when you have kids, there's a cost because now you've got another person in the mix and with all of their things. And so healthy, unhealthy, whatever it might be, you want to make sure that you've got stuff covered. So there's a lot of planning when it comes to that. And maybe you've got a good job and you don't have to plan as much as maybe if you didn't have as good a job or as high paying of a job. But what happens is when we make more money, we spend more money, right? We don't necessarily save more money, we end up spending money. So remember, always save more, spend less, so that you don't have the anxiety and the stress of future decisions that, I can't make that decision because I don't have the money. You want to be able to be able to make those decisions at any point in time. So save. It'll be far less stressful for you in the future. So, getting back to marriage. You're married. You got 2 kids on the way because you got twins. And what does that look like? Who's not going to work? Is it you? Is it the person you're married to? Who's going to stay home with the kids? Are you going to stay home with the kids? Are they going to go into daycare? What is going to happen there? All those are financial decisions that you need to make sure that you've got covered. You've got at least 9 months to plan for that, so plan for it. Then, what happens when you no longer like your roommate and you want to be, I want to do something different or be with somebody else? Well, guess what? Everything that you've put your combined heart and soul in is now split 50-50, at least. Depending on what lawyer you have and what lawyer they have. Maybe you get less, maybe they get more, or vice versa. So really, at the end of the day, when you split, it's the lawyers that win. So I know all those family law lawyers are like, don't listen to this. You know, we love working with you and making it easy. But really, somebody's going to feed into either your or your soon-to-be ex-partner's fears. And so you may think you have an agreement with the other individual, but guess what? Somebody starts talking in their ear about something and all that goes out the window. Now there's spousal support, child support. You know, you might be, because if you guys made a decision of you're going to stay home with the kids and not work, you might be paying extra in spousal support just to be able to maintain that living arrangement. And then what does that look like? Now you're paying for this home that you bought together and you've got to live somewhere. So where are you going? Are you renting? Do you have the resources to buy something else? So there's going to be a lot. Or are you both going to sell the home, split the difference, and both be renting? Now what does that look like? So now you've just lost all your security. So really, when it comes down to that, make sure that you're in with somebody that you are friends with, that it's not just something superficial, that you can grow together and talk about all that stuff. What does tomorrow look like? What does having children look like? What does having children gone look like? What does having grandchildren look like? Because all those affect your pocketbook. And so you want to make sure that you're all on the same page, because the biggest stressor in a marriage is going to be money. Fidelity is next, but money is the biggest stressor. So make sure that you are on the same page so you can remove that stress, which means you can be happy together and you don't have to worry about it. And you can enjoy and relive those marriage moments. Thanks, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.